Hey there guys, and welcome back to Skyrim. Alright, so on the last episode we did the introduction to the walkthrough, we did the character creation, and I ended up choosing an orc, by the way. And yeah, we took care of the introduction, and we got our first weapon and some armor. And now we need to escape Helgen, because the dragon is tearing down the city. And we are following Roloff. So let's go ahead and keep following this guy. There's a couple things we need to do in this area before leaving, and it's really going to help us out. Dragon's still on the rampage.
Dragon doesn't give up easy.
Grab everything important and let's move. Dragon's burning everything to the ground.
I just need to gather some more potions.
Take us alive. God, no.
Alright, let's go ahead and first let's loot the area. There's some soldiers we just took out. I go ahead and grab the armor piece, the main armor pieces, because they sell for 100 gold. And we're going to need to get gold up, because gold is very important in this game. Also, take note of the armor that we're picking up, because even though they say the same name, Imperial armor, they're slightly different, and this is why. As you can see, the Imperial armor, if you look at the top left of the caption underneath the actual armor piece, it'll say either heavy armor or light armor in gray. Now, depending on how you want to build your character, you need to choose either heavy armor or light armor. The way that I'm going to be progressing is, at first I'm going to wear all light armor. Now the reason for this is because you don't get as high of a defense or armor rating with light armor as you do heavy armor, but you're able to run longer because heavy armor weighs you down, so you'll run out of stamina quicker with heavy armor. And since our stamina is really low because we're at the beginning and we haven't leveled up, it's probably better to use light armor. That way you can run longer and you can attack more. Because not only does running take away your stamina, but also if you do power attacks, that takes your stamina away as well. So for the majority of the early parts of the game, it's probably better to use light armor, or that's what I do at least. You don't have to play however you want. But in the early parts of the game, I like to use light armor because I find it more beneficial. And then once we get to the later part of the game where we're leveled up and we actually have a lot more stamina, then we'll switch over to heavy armor to get a better armor rating. Alright, so just grab the chest pieces because they sell for a good amount of money. And make sure that you loot all areas very thoroughly, because there's actually good stuff to be found in pretty much every area of the game. So for now, let's just grab potions, and make sure you grab this salt pile, where while salt piles don't really look particularly useful, as well as other stuff we're going to be finding, you should probably grab it because it's an alchemy ingredient. So for those of you wanting to level up your alchemy, because you get huge benefits for leveling up alchemy, you're going to need as much ingredients as you can get. So make sure you grab all alchemy ingredients. And I'll explain later on in the game what each ingredient does and how to level up your alchemy fast. Alright, so let's grab any potions that we see around here. Also, check this barrel to the left here. It's got a whole crap load of potions. Check the sacks and all that stuff. The table to the left has another healing potion and another salt pile.
Let's get moving.
Alright, moving on, continue following Roloff.
Troll blood. It's a torture room. Hear that?
Alright, so in the next room, you'll be in a torture room. Go ahead and take out the torturer and his assistant. Now, if you loot the torturer, you'll see that he has a steel dagger.
No, I haven't seen him since this.
Now, a steel dagger is slightly better than the iron dagger we have now. So let's go ahead and equip that. By the way, if you have weapons or magic that you want to access quickly without having to pull up the menu, if you head over to, say, the steel dagger, you can press Y or triangle on PlayStation and choose to make it your favorite. While now favorites is a quick tutorial will pop up. While in game, press up on the D-pad to open the favorites menu, which allows you to quickly use or equip items you have marked as your favorites. So from now on, any items marked as your favorites you have quick access to by pushing up on the D-pad. So as you can see over on the left hand side, if you push up on the D-pad, the favorites menu will come up, allowing you to quickly choose between your favorites, weapons, and anything else you have marked as your favorites. So for now, I would highly suggest to equip that steel dagger, unless you like swords or maces. A quick rundown: daggers do less damage but are a lot more quicker, and you can move faster with daggers, allowing you to attack more. Swords are pretty much average. Axes are slower than swords but do more damage. Finally, you got the heavy great swords, which are two-handed weapons which deal massive damage but are very slow, and then war hammers, which are two-handed axes that are the slowest of all but do the most damage. So choose between either one-handed weapons or two-handed weapons. Personally, I like daggers, which are one-handed weapons, and they're very quick. Even though they have low damage rating, it allows you to attack a lot faster. You also get your one-handed up quicker because you're attacking more. So go ahead and equip that steel dagger.
It's locked. See if you can get it open with some picks. We might need that gold once we get out. Grab anything useful and let's go.
Alright, so before we leave, there's a couple things we need to do here. First of all, head into the cage. Inside this area, if you look on the table, you'll find a book you can read. And you'll find a couple lockpicks. Now, lockpicks are really useful in this game because they allow you to pick locks. And the more locks you pick, the higher your lockpick level will increase, allowing you to pick even better locks easier. You'll find an iron shield on the ground. You might want to pick that up. And there's also an iron mace on the weapon rack in case you like maces. Alright, so before we move on, you can check the knapsack on the table for 4 lockpicks and a potion of minor healing. There's also a book on the Dragonborn you can pick up if you want, and an iron dagger. And if you did not make it in time and the Stormcloak soldier died, you can loot his iron warhammer. Alright, so before we go, let's go ahead and pick the locks to increase our lockpick skill. Upon picking the first lock, the tutorial will pop up. Now, if you're low on lockpicks, a quick tip: you might want to save before you pick any locks. That way, if you break your lockpicks, you can always reload your game. So if you're running low on lockpicks, like you have 10 lockpicks or less, before you pick a lock, save your game. That way, if you do break all your lockpicks, you can reload it and try again. Alright, so there's nothing in the first cage. Now let's pick the second cage. In here you'll find a dead mage. You can search him and make sure you take the novice hood and robes, especially if you're a magic caster. These things are really handy. Now, the thing to take note of about mage hoods and robes is they don't give you any armor. The armor rating is 0. However, they weigh practically nothing, and they can be sold for a good amount of money. But most importantly, they have really good magic enhancements abilities on them, such as the novice hood increases your magicka by 30 points, and the novice robes gives you magicka regenerates 50% faster. So if you're a mage, make sure to equip the novice hood and novice robes immediately. Also lying on the ground beside the mage is a spell tome, Sparks. Now, spell tomes are books that you can read so that you can learn new magic skills. So let's quickly take a look. Open up the menu and go down to books, and then find the spell tome Sparks. Now, anytime you get a new spell tome, it'll say in the up left hand corner beneath the book, it'll say what class of magic it is. It'll either be destruction, alteration, conjuration, or restoration magic. The spell tome Sparks is a destruction spell, which is offensive magic. So go ahead and read the book in order to learn the spell Sparks. Immediately after learning this, reading the book, you will learn whichever spell. Again, you can check it out from the magic menu. Go to destruction. So we just learned the Spark spell. So if you want, you can favorite both of them. Also, it's highly recommended to favorite the restoration spell Healing so that you can heal when needed. You really don't need to use potions unless you're really low on health. I would highly recommend just using the healing magic. So have your steel dagger in one hand or a steel sword in one hand, and then the healing magic in the other hand. That way you can, instead of using a potion to heal when your health is low, you can use the restoration spell Healing. This will level up your restoration level. Also, don't forget to check out your power. Depending on what race you have or what race you chose, you'll have different powers. Since I chose the Orc, I got the Berserker Rage, which the ability for Berserker Rage is you take half damage and do double damage for 60 seconds. An excellent ability, so be sure to favorite that so you can quickly access it with the D-pad. So for now, I'm going to equip the steel dagger and healing. Very useful. So now that your character is somewhat set up, let's go ahead and head over to the last cage. And there's nothing to be found in the last cage. Alright, so now that we've looted everything in this room, let's go ahead and continue on. In the next area, take your time and you'll notice a couple of jail doors to the left and right. The first one on the left doesn't have anything, but the first one on the right has nothing of interest, but the first one on the left gives you another lockpick that we can pick to increase our lockpicking level. Now, I would highly recommend to pick all locks you come in contact with, even if there's nothing behind it. Just pick the locks so that you can upgrade your lockpicking skill, because it's really going to come in handy later. And that increases our lockpicking skill to 16. Nothing behind that door though. Continue on. The second door on the left doesn't have anything of interest, but the second door on the right will give us another novice lock that we can pick. In this room, you'll find a skeleton that you can search for a bone meal and some gold. Also, to the left, you'll find a coin purse. Go ahead and grab that for some extra gold. Now let's go ahead and move on. In the next room, make sure you search all the skeletons for a little bit of gold and bone meals.
Imperial. What next?
If you want, you can kill the Stormcloak soldier and loot her. But she don't have anything on her.
Stick together down here.
Alright, continue moving on and you'll reach a cave.
Orders are to wait until General Tullius arrives.
Alright, ahead you're going to run into a couple Imperial soldiers. Take them all out. Make sure to loot them as you go. Again, I would only pick up the Imperial armor. Also, you might want to pick up some iron arrows and a longbow. That way you have a bow and some arrows. Alright, after you loot all of the soldiers and take them out,
This way.
continue on.
Let's see where this is.
Alright, so go ahead and cross the newly accessible bridge.
No going back that way now. You'd better push on. The rest of them.
Alright, so once you enter the next room, the path behind us that leads back where we fought the Imperial soldiers will crumble. So we have no choice but to push on. So let's go ahead and push on. We want to get out of here as soon as possible, but there is something that we need to do that's really important in here. So follow the river and then turn left when the path splits. Beautiful scenery, by the way. At the end of the path, you'll find a coin purse off to the right, a potion, and a skeleton you can search. And I don't know if there's anything over here, but we're gonna check. Alright, there's nothing to be found over here, so let's go ahead and backtrack. Let's continue following Relock.
doesn't go anywhere. I guess we'd better try this way.
Turn right and make sure that you grab the coin purse on the way. Ahead you might run into some spiders. Let's go ahead and take these little guys out. And a bigger one. Watch out because they might poison you. So make sure to use that healing magic. You can search the spiders for frostbite venom. And you might get lucky and get a silver garnet ring in one of them. Also check the egg sack for a spider egg. Grab at least 2 of them. Alright, let's go ahead and move on. Alright, at this next area, there's a skeleton up top you can search. Right beside it, there is a potion of health.
Hold up! There's a bear just ahead. See her? I'd rather not tangle with her right now. Let's try to sneak by. Just take it nice and slow. And watch where you step.
Or if you're feeling lucky, you can take this bow. Might take her by surprise.
Go ahead. I'll follow your lead and watch your back.
Alright, so just ahead, Roloff will tell you that there's a bear ahead. At this point, he'll give you your longbow. Now, if you picked up a bow off the Imperial soldiers earlier, you're going to have 2 of them. So I'd go ahead and discard one of them, because they're really not worth that much money, and they weigh 5. They have a weight of 5. So go ahead and discard one of them. That way you can free up some inventory space. Alright, so now this is the important part I told you about. Instead of killing this bear and proceeding on, it's probably wise to start sneaking and leveling up your sneak. Now, in order to level up your sneak, push down on the left stick, and you're now in sneak mode. So get kind of close to the bear, but don't get too close or he'll spot you. So I'd stay like right about here, and all you have to do is keep moving around. And eventually, make sure that he doesn't detect you. But as you can see, your sneak will increase to level 17 or whatever level you start at, depending on what character you chose. So if you stand here and just keep walking around in a circle, make sure you don't get too close to the bear or he'll spot you. But if you just stand here and keep walking around, your sneak will go up like crazy. Now, I always like to get to at least level 50 sneak right here. Now, it might take about an hour, maybe a little bit longer, but the benefits of having your sneak up early in the game is awesome, because a lot of the stuff that we're going to be doing early on in the game will be a whole lot easier with a higher level of sneak. So if you start off with the orc like I did, your sneak is going to be really low, like at level 16. But if you start off with the Khajiit or something like that, a different race, your sneak will probably already be at level 40. So either way, I tend to like to get my sneak really high. One time I got my sneak all the way up to level 80. It took me about 2.5, 3 hours. But I got my sneak all the way up to level 80. And I was able to sneak around anything early on in the game. Now, if you have heavy armor equipped, you should unequip it for this part because heavy armor makes a lot of noise and the bear will spot you even from far away, which is why light armor is very good to use early on in the game, especially if you're sneaking around in general. Until you get the right perks of sneak, heavy armor is really going to be a thorn in your side because it weighs a lot and it makes a lot of noise. So if you're sneaking with heavy armor, you're probably going to get spotted. So go ahead and unequip your heavy armor if you have it equipped and stay at a good distance away from the bear and just keep walking around in a circle like I am. Don't turn because turning doesn't increase your sneak. You have to actually walk. So just keep walking in a tight circle like I am right now behind Reloff, and you'll see your sneak going up like crazy, especially if your sneak is at like level 20. It'll start going up a lot. And again, I would highly recommend getting your sneak at least to level 50. It should only take about 30 minutes to get it to level 50, maybe an hour tops to get it to level 50, but once you have it there, it's going to make the game a whole lot easier because you're going to be able to really start sneaking by enemies and all that good stuff early on in the game. So if you don't want to waste a whole lot of time getting your sneak up, you don't have to. There's plenty of other places to get our sneak up a lot faster than this, such as backstabbing enemies. While you're sneaking, if you can sneak up to an enemy and backstab them, your sneak will go up really fast, a lot faster than just walking around like this. But in order to actually be able to sneak up to an enemy and backstab them, your sneak is going to have to be at least level 40. So I would do this until at least level 40 or 50 at the minimum, and then once you got your sneak to about either level 40 or 50, you can continue on. And yeah, alright, so that's pretty much going to conclude this episode. I'm going to stay here and I'm just going to get my sneak up to like level 50 or maybe even higher. I'll show you guys how high I got my sneak on the next episode in case you're trying to figure out what level I got my sneak up to here. It's going to be over level 50. Like I said, one time I got my sneak all the way up to level 80, but it took like 3 hours. And if you don't feel like sitting here waiting and you want to get your sneak up to like level 80, all you have to do is tie a rubber band around your controller and just walk into the wall. Like, as long as you have your left stick pushed all the way to the right on your Xbox 360 controller, or all the way to the left on your Xbox 360 controller, as you can see, I'm walking, but I'm pushed up against the wall. I'm not going to go anywhere because I'm pushed up on the wall. So you can stay doing this for however long you want. Just tie a rubber band around your controller and just keep walking into the wall, and leave your Xbox on and make sure your controller doesn't die. And if you come back like 2 or 3 hours later, your sneak will be all the way up to like level 80. And again, it's very important to get your sneak up early on in the game because not only does it help you kill enemies and remain undetected when sneaking, but it'll also help us in a couple quests that we're going to be doing early on in the game. So the higher you get your sneak now, the better. Also, we're going to be leveling up a lot of skills, so if you don't level up your sneak now, it's going to be a while before you can get a good chance to level it up again, because we're going to be working on so many skills. We're really not going to be focused on sneak. However, if you don't want to level up here and you want to wait, that's fine. If you just play through the game normally and you like sneaking around as you play through the game, your sneak will go up like crazy regardless. So sneak is like one of the easiest spells to master, so don't feel rushed in order to max it out. It's better to max it out as early as possible, but if you don't feel like staying here and you want to get the game moving, that's fine. You don't have to worry about it. But I love sneaking in this game. That's like my favorite thing to do, is sneak around and stab people in the back or use a bow and shoot people in the back while sneaking. So yeah, pretty much I'm just gonna get my sneak up now, and if you don't want to, don't worry about it. And once I'm done getting my sneak up, I'll start up the next episode and show you guys how I got my sneak up, how far I got my sneak up to. And oh yeah, before I leave, one more thing. The benefits of getting your sneak up is the more you level it up, the faster you will level up your main level. Each time you level up your main level, you'll be able to get, not only will you be able to increase your health, magic, or stamina permanently, but also you'll get these things called perks. And you can spend perks on whatever you want. So we'll go into more detail about that later. Let me quickly show you guys. I'm going to level up real quick. So once you have leveled up your main level, you'll get a quick tutorial on leveling up. When your level increases, you must choose to increase your health, magic, or stamina. You can also select a new perk at this time, or save it for later. Available perks are highlighted in each constellation. Alright, so each time you level up, you can choose to either increase your magicka, health, or stamina. I'm going to go ahead and increase my health for now. And then I'm going to increase my stamina. Now, if you're wondering what to increase first, it all depends on what you're using. If you're a mage and you really want to work on your spells early in the game, I would highly suggest to increase your magicka. However, the way that I'm going to be making this guide, it's best to increase your health and stamina the same amount. So if you have your health at 150, make sure you increase your stamina to 150. Now the reason why we're increasing our stamina is because we're going to be mapping out the map. And in order to map out the map, you have to run around a lot. So if your stamina is really low, you're going to have to wait for your stamina to recharge a lot more. Meaning it's going to take you a lot longer to map out the map. So if you have a higher stamina, you'll be able to run for a longer period of time, allowing you to get from point A to point B a whole lot faster. So that's why it's good to increase your stamina early in the game so that you can run around. And not only does increasing your stamina allow you to run faster, but it also allows you to hold more items. It increases your carrying capacity. So again, early on in the game, it's good to increase your stamina because you can run longer and you can hold more items, allowing you to get more items to sell for more gold. So early on, it's really good to increase your stamina. But then again, it's all up to you however you want to develop your character. For this guide, I'm going to be increasing my stamina the most in the beginning. And then once we have our stamina high enough, we're going to work on our health. And then finally, lastly, we're going to increase our magicka. And one last thing. Each time you level up, at the very top, you'll see your level. And you'll also see perks to increase, too. Each time you level up, you'll get one perk that you can increase. You can either choose to increase something now, or you can save that perk for later. Now, at the bottom, you'll see a list of skills. Here, you'll see your current skill and the current skill level right beside it. So, as you can see, if you push up on each skill, you can see the abilities that are governed by that skill. Now, what you're going to want to do is spin your perks to increase the abilities. So for example, since we're leveling up sneak, let's go to the sneak. Here it is, level 25. If you push up, you'll see the abilities you can learn within sneak. The stealth, you are 20% harder to detect when sneaking. So if you choose to buy this perk, then bang, you are 20% harder to detect when sneaking. Now each perk costs 1 perk point to buy. And some of them you can't buy because you need a certain level within that skill. So as you can see, the backstab requires a sneak skill of 30 and we only have 25. Also, in order to get to backstab, you have to at least purchase the ability directly before it. So you can't just skip to the end of the list. You have to buy them in order. And again, you get 1 perk skill per level up. So as you can see, it's very important to level up your characters if you want to buy the abilities. And getting your sneak up now will actually, if you get your sneak up to like level 80, you'll be able to level up like 5 or 6 different times, allowing you to get 5 or 6 perk points to spend. But we're going to be saving most of our perk points now for later on. Whenever we level up something else, we're going to be spending our perk points on that. So for now, I'm just going to level up my sneak, and I'll see you guys next time on the next episode of Skyrim.